Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This afternoon I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the USA, English language, released in the year 2021, directed by Rodo Sayagas, and this film is called Don't Breathe 2. So Don't Breathe 2 is about an elderly man who's blind, who's a recluse. He used to be a Navy SEAL and he knows the acts of brutality very well. So he's a very violent and dangerous man, but he lives alone with his daughter. Now he's teaching his daughter the ways of survival, putting her through a set of grueling tests because he believes it's for her own benefit. But she dreams of being just a typical girl, hanging out with her friends, going to school, but he says that it's a very dangerous world and it's his duty to protect her while she grows up. So there's paranoia within this old man, but there's reality to that paranoia because there's an organ trafficking gang that is targeting children. Now they've put their sights on this girl and they're about to encroach on this old man's house where he's going to have to fight back in the brutal ways that he knows. So whether or not he can save the day is something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Don't Breathe 2. For those of you who are familiar with my channel, I have reviewed a lot of sequels, and my common critique of sequels is that it's basically a rehash of the first film, capitalising upon the popularity of the name and just being a lazy cash grab. So that was my initial impression of Don't Breathe 2. I didn't even watch the trailer because I just dismissed it. I thought as though the first film was absolutely fantastic, but the second movie, it was just going to be a retelling. And so for the longest time, I just ignored it. But when I finally saw the trailer, I thought, all right, this looks a little bit different. And so the curiosity was there, but the expectations weren't very high. But after watching this movie, I will say that this is one of the rare occasions where a sequel works. Was it necessary? Probably not, because it does tie up a lot of loose ends in the first film, and the second movie doesn't really have too much to do with the first, apart from the fact that Stephen Lang is once again this blind man. But I still thought as though it was effective and it actually had a purpose, because although it was taking place within the same sort of world and that same tense claustrophobia that the first film had, it was still from a completely different perspective. You get a different side of this character played by Stephen Lang. I thought his character was absolutely fantastic. And this movie actually gives you a thought-provoking quality as far as violence is concerned. You're seeing a different side of this guy, but he's still inflicting that horrible violence that he inflicts in the first film, but it's towards different people. And so why do we condone it? Violence is still a very destructive thing. And is it okay to commit these really bad acts of violence and really painful tortures if it is, defending people? And so violence is basically violence, but the way we see it is completely different. And so in this movie, you see the violence in a completely different way. And I thought that was really, really effective. I thought as though the set piece is absolutely fantastic. The suspense was absolutely through the roof. The movie does play on the sense of hearing, so the sound effects are very well done. The majority of the film takes place in a house, which is very similar to the first movie. So as I said, it keeps the same sort of world, but takes it from a completely different perspective. And so you've got villains in this movie that I thought worked very well. And the acts of violence were incredibly brutal. This is a more brutal film than the first movie. So if you thought the first movie was nasty, this movie has some really nasty moments. But again, it's all asking the question about violence. I'll have to be very careful not to give anything away. But I thought that question was just an added bonus on the entertainment value. The movie is very entertaining, very fast paced, but the message about violence doesn't hit you over the head. So it's not becoming a distraction. It's just something that you can think about, but it's not taking itself too seriously. So ultimately, it wants to be a very entertaining movie, and that's exactly what it does. I actually thought as though this was a very surprising experience. It is a movie that does have a lot of love behind it and a very strong purpose, and that's something that is very rare to see these days. So Stephen Lang, absolutely fantastic as this guy. What he does to some of these people is really cringy, and I just absolutely loved all the carnage that went with it. So the end I thought was pretty decent, and all in all, it is a sequel that I believe is one of the better ones. It's a movie with a very strong purpose, stays true to the first film, but at the same time making it its own. And as a result of that, I'm going to give this film 3.5 stars. All right, guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later. Bye.